All right, this is your last video from section 10.1, and we're going to focus on permutations again. So it's going to be a specific type of permutations, and it's going to be when you have certain things within your permutation that repeat, and I'll talk about that in the examples. So if you have permutations with a repetition, then the number of distinguishable permutations, and if you don't know what distinguishable means, it just means that you'd be able to note a difference. So for example, if you had if you were a twin and they ordered people and they couldn't tell your twins apart, and let's say they switched around the two twins, it wouldn't be distinguishable. And I'm sorry, twins, I know that that would hurt your feelings. You want to be distinguishable, right? But the idea is you look so much alike that if I switched you around, nobody would know and it wouldn't be distinguishable. Okay, another example might be if you have like the same breed of dog. So if I lined up 5 dogs, but 2 of them were Labrador retrievers, and they looked the same and they were the same color, and I switched around those 2 labs, it would not be distinguishable. Hence, that wouldn't count as a different order. Now again, I know that that seems wrong because it is a different order because it's 2 different dogs, but because you can't distinguish it, it's not counted as a different order. Okay, so if you have something that repeats itself, so again, if it was 2 identical twins, that wouldn't count for 2, that would just count as 1 person. What you do is you take the number of objects that you have. So if you have n people or n things and objects, you take that n factorial, and then anything that repeats, you divide it out however many times it repeats, factorial. And maybe you have 5 things that repeat, so then you're going to have 5 numbers, factorial, that you're going to divide out. The one thing I would really stress here too is to put that denominator in parentheses, because if you type that in your calculator and you don't have parentheses around that denominator, you will get the wrong answers. So that is so important. Make sure you have parentheses around that denominator. Okay, so here's an example. If I have the word, now this will make a lot of sense to you. If I have the words even, or the word even, excuse me, you know that if I switch around those 2 E's right there, I'm still going to have the word even. That is not distinguishable, right? So even though in part A I have 4 letters, I can't rearrange those 4 letters because 2 of them are, or the 1 letter is repeated twice, E. So what you do is you take the number of letters that you have, factorial, but then you divide out any repeats. Okay, so my E repeats twice, so I'm going to divide out 2 factorial, and that's it. So you could just dump that on your calculator, that's totally fine, but obviously it's going to be 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, but then I'm going to divide out the 2 times 1, so it's going to be 4 times 3, or there are 12 ways I can rearrange the word even and make it distinguishable. Alright, now take a look at the word California, and let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 letters there, so it's going to be 10 factorial, but the A repeats, and it repeats itself twice, so that's divide out a 2 factorial. The I repeats, and that repeats itself twice, so take out another 2 factorial, and that is the only letters that repeat. Now, one thing I'm going to stress, because I see this mistake too often, people will say 2 times 2 is 4 factorial, but you know that's wrong because this is 2 times 1 times 2 times 1, which is 4. If you wrote this as 4 factorial, that would be 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So very different. So please, each factorial is its own. Make sure you put parentheses around that denominator, and take a second and pause the video and do type that in your calculator, because I want to make sure that you're getting the right answer. And I get 907,200 different ways, who knew, right, that you can arrange, that you can arrange the word California and make it distinguishable. So again, distinguishable means that if I switched around these two A's, I wouldn't notice the difference. It's not distinguishable. Okay, you try these and then push pause and see what you get and then check the answer. So find the number of distinguishable permutations of the letter of the word tomorrow and yesterday. So see how you do. Pause the video. All right, the answers are tomorrow has 8 letters, so 8 factorial divided by, it has 3 O's, so divide out 3 factorial, and 2 R's, so times 2 factorial. Make sure that the denominator is in parentheses, and you should get 3,360 ways. Yesterday has 9 letters total. There are 2 E's, so divide out 2 factorial. There are also 2 Y's, so divide out 2 factorial. And that's 90,720 ways.